Okay, so far I have talked about sequencers and the grammar of writing about processes. Now I want to talk a little bit about the IELTS and something you really shouldn't do when you write the IELTS, especially, well, with processes or anything. But here is an example of a question on the IELTS that has to do with processes. Now here in this question, you don't actually see a diagram, but usually there would be images or a diagram of a process. So the question is, the diagram below shows the process of making a cup of tea. Summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features. So this is the type of question you'll get, okay? It might be the diagram below shows photosynthesis, or the diagram below shows how concrete is made, okay? So it might be man-made, it might be natural. Now what a lot of students do is they see this and they decide to write their introduction and they copy the words from here into their introduction. So they read this and then they start their answer with, the diagram below shows the process of making a cup of tea. You should not copy the question words, okay? It's very important that you paraphrase, that you use your own words in your first sentence. So if this was the question I had, a couple things I might do is, instead of using the word diagram, I might use the word illustration or images, okay? And instead of using the word shows, I'd use a different verb. So instead of the diagram shows, I would say the illustration demonstrates, or the diagram illustrates, okay? So it's good to change the language. And this is one of the easier ways to do it, is change the verb. If they use show, use demonstrates or illustrates, okay? And if you can, instead of using the word diagram, use the word illustration or images, okay? Another thing a lot of students do is they would copy the rest of it, the process of making a cup of tea. You can also change this around. So in my example, I put the diagram illustrates how a cup of tea is made. So I've changed it from the active voice to the passive voice. You don't have to do that. My main point here is don't copy the instructions. Use your own words in your introduction, okay? Another tip that's very important when you're describing processes is take a couple of minutes to actually look at what's happening. A lot of students, they start writing, but they don't actually understand the pictures they're looking at. So take a moment to figure out, where does the process start, what happens, and where does it end? What is the final product? How many stages are there? How many steps? Okay, so it's important to ask yourself some questions before you start writing to make sure you really understand what the pictures are showing you and what the illustration is showing you. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I know the IELTS for a lot of students is a very stressful and scary thing. So I'd like to invite you to come visit our website at www.ingvid.com. And there you can do a quiz to practice what we've talked about in this video, as well as there's other videos on IELTS and on English in general. So I highly recommend you to come visit our website and check those out. Until next time, take care and good luck.